So I'm going to talk a little bit about this shoot. Now, I do want to preface this. I do boudoir a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the XT-5, XT4, and XH2s. I think in here too. It was shot on a GoPro 11, I think. But I did start a Patreon for more of the, I guess, the adult version of some of these shoots. This is just a regular model. Um, I've I've been kind of blackballed, I guess, in a sense, from a lot of the models that are there. But I was like, whatever. I do these kind of shoots just for fun, for what is it? Testing out light. So there's a constant light over here on the left hand side. You can kind of see it, and everybody uses these walls. They get kind of old after a while. Nobody really likes to use them anymore. There's a blue wall on the left hand side that people like to use. But these are some of the shots from it. Now, the overall thing I'm going to talk about real quick is the Patreon. Obviously was the first thing, but the second thing is I made a video last time about the XT5, XT4, XT3, and this shoot was with the XH2s, and I didn't have a CF Express B card. I think that's what it is, and so I was just shooting on the regular SD card, and I want to kind of compare the XT5, XH2s, and the XT3, no, XT4, sorry, and see if you can tell. So if you look at these pictures right here, there's a set that's shot with the XT5. A bunch of them were shot with the XT5. There was a few shot with the XT3 or XT4, and then the rest were shot on the XH2s. Now, the one thing, I rented the XH2s for about 2 weeks, and I kept on forgetting to change the color cast, so you can see the white balance is a little bit different on XH2s versus the XT5. And the XT4 was the same thing as the XH2s. I think there was a little bit of difference in the color, so you can kind of see the difference here. I edited them same, put the same sliders across, except for the black and whites. Obviously, those are different. But I highly doubt that your client or you could tell the difference, and this is why I say, if you can, XT3, XT4 is the best camera to get. Now, if you don't like the flippy screen, then the XT5 is your only bet. Those 40 megapixels are going to cost you, though. The amount of memory that comes out for these photos are horrendous. Under compressed, just raw, just setting raw with no differential, no compression, nothing uncompressed. They're huge files, and you're going to have to buy a ton of SD cards, SD cards, and a ton of hard drives. And I'm just saying this from experience. I have 7 hard drives, and they're almost all full, just in general, with 23 megapixel sets. But I've taken thousands of photos because I do weddings and portraits and model shoots, and I just don't see the point behind getting a 30 megapixel or 40 megapixel camera when you do something simple like these. Like I said, the clients really can't tell. They can't see it. It's very difficult. I'm leaving these up there to see if you know which one is the XH5 and then which one's the XT4, or sorry, XT5 and XT4. And I love the XH2s. I really do. It's an amazing camera, but I just have a hard time with the CF Express. I think I saw the cheapest was like $200 and something for a CF Express card, and it wasn't even that many megapixels, and that hurt. That really just like, I couldn't do it. I was about to buy the XH2s, and I think if you're doing video and you want to continue having photography, XH2s is perfect. The PASM dial you had to get used to a little bit and set your settings. The ISO is a little confusing. It takes time to get used to it. I love it. The ergonomics are perfect. I love the way it felt. I'm gonna tell you, I took these shots right here with this. This is the I think this is the GoPro, but the shots that are here with this one, most of these are taken with the XH2s, and there's a couple with the XT5 that are in here, and I'll pop some photos up here in a minute. But for the most apart. It's just it's beautiful to hold. The XT5 kind of wears on you, and I was kind of upset that it doesn't have the grip. Um, I love the X. So I every day carry XT3, XT4, and I do the XT4 for the flip out screen. It makes it a little bit easier for me to see what I'm doing, to get what I've got at low angles, at what is it called, portrait. You know, if I'm doing a portrait. I'm about to switch out cameras here in a minute. I think it's the XT5 I'm going to shoot with. Now, you could do the same thing with the XT5. It has that little flip out. You know, you push the little button, it flips up, and it's amazing. It's great. So the pictures that you're seeing here in just a moment, these are XT5, XH2s on the same backdrop. You can kind of tell the difference because the color cast is off a little bit with the editing, but you can't tell the megapixel difference. And then there's one in there I threw in there with the XT4. I think I shot on a 35, and I just realized it was a 35 f2. The 35 f2 has a bow in it, and you have to fix it with the lens correction. And I never realized that before. I guess because I would edit with a certain program, it never had the problem. But now that I'm editing with Luminar AI, I can see the bow, and there's some photos if you go to the IG that you can see some of that bowing. But for the most part, I don't have a problem with all the lenses. They're pretty spot on. But the XT5 and XT4 do not correct the bow in camera when you shoot RAW, and I guess that's because you shoot RAW. Now when you shoot JPEG, I think everything looks perfectly fine. I think I'm gonna throw a JPEG shot up there, but you can barely see it. I really do enjoy practicing with models, and so it goes back to the black ball portion. When you're speaking to people and you're talking to models, you got to be really careful what you text and say overall. And the reason why I say that is because people misinterpret stuff. People say things that you didn't say, and it's real easy to do like screenshots and prove that you didn't do it. But once somebody says, hey, look, this person, don't work with them, they're bad, they're unprofessional, it pretty much ruins everything. And so I decided that I'm probably not going to do any more model shoots in general, just because I'm not really good with talking to people in general, just like every day. And I'm not good talking to people over text for sure. I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm just typing. So it's kind of one of those things that I enjoy practicing and shooting and talking to people and getting to know them, but I don't have the wherewithal to know sometimes that I say something dumb or stupid or overall just kind of crazy. So this last little part, I'm just going to leave it, I think, here in just a moment. But going back, if you stay this long, I think the XT4, XT3 are perfectly good cameras in 2023. The XT5 is great, but just you can't tell the difference in the megapixels. You really cannot. And I used an optimized lens on some of these shots too that they have there. I rented them. So I'm going to leave you with a few pictures here. Like I said, I highly doubt you can tell which one's the XH2s, XT5, XT4, and XT3. So just my closing out. These are just a few pictures from it. You can kind of tell the difference between them just color-wise, but other than that, I highly doubt you can tell which one's which. YouTube is going to compress it anyway, and so I'm just going to leave it there. You have a good day, good night, and I'll see you on the other side.